About a year ago, I ended up getting a brand new DJ controller, and I have been using it since. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about that controller, which is the Pioneer DDJ-REV7. Let's do this. Hi, I'm Velanche. I am a local DJ and founder of DJ Collected Soul Dust Productions. I am also an aspiring music producer and content creator. So in January of 2022, Pioneer announced the DDJ-REV7. It's the first vinylized controller from Pioneer, and it's a direct competition to a controller that was released a year before from the Rain called the Rain 1. Those controllers have motorized jog wheels, and those jog wheels are different than the typical capacitor or mechanical jog wheels that you'll find in most DJ controllers. I also tell you about the things that I really like about the controller, as well as a few cons. So I'm not going to do a full review of the controller. There's some good video reviews out there that you want to be able to check out on YouTube, as well as plenty of written reviews on the REV7. So the first thing that I really dig about the controller is the layout. It's a very unusual layout, except maybe for DJs who have used Pioneer mixers. And in the middle of the controller is something that looks very much like one of the S series DJ battle mixers that Pioneer makes. In fact, it's closest to what is now the DJM S7. We in Soul Dust have ended up using the DJM S9, which Pioneer released back in 2016, and we ended up using it since 2018. We've been using it at quite a number of our gigs. Imagine my surprise when I first saw the controller with that exact layout. Most controllers have their pads underneath the platters, right? Not the REV7. The controller is designed very much like a battle style DJ layout. One of the improvements that's on the controller are the beat effects. There are 2 banks of 6 that you can be able to utilize, and there are a total of 22 effects available on the controller. So now I should also say that the REV7 is a Serato controller, so there's no support for a record box at this time. Another thing about the controller that I like that is pretty obvious are the motorized jog wheels, slightly over 7 inches in diameter. Now you can change the torque on the jog wheels. I haven't had to bother with it, but the default is high torque, but you can change it to low torque if you need it. And on the jog wheels are the Jog Displays. Now each display shows 2 waveforms. One side is the track that's playing, and the other is the track that you're loading up. You can change the size of the waveform. There are 4 sizes you can be able to choose from on the controller. If you want to, you can be able to view the elapsed time, as well as time remaining, and most importantly, you can view the waveforms. The other thing that you can be able to see are the cue points and the loops, and it makes it really handy all around because you don't have to look up at the computer. Once you load the track, you can be able to look at the jog display. Another handy feature that I like on the controller is something that I haven't really heard much of until last year. It's called Silent Cue. Now the Silent Cue has dedicated buttons on either side of the controller. Silent Cue allows you to be able to have a tight mix without a lot of latency, because it's not like most controllers where you can be able to press the play button and it just plays instantly on cue like that. It's going to act more like a turntable in that when you press that play button, it's going to take a little bit of time to be able to rev up. Not a crazy amount of time, but probably enough time that you're trying to be able to do things like beat match, or you're trying to do a beat juggle or scratching or some intricate maneuver interacting between songs. It could mess you up if you're not careful. And once you press that silent cue button, you'll be able to see the white circle that's on the deck turn black, and it will say mute. Now, when you press the play button, you're not going to hear anything. It's just going to start at the platter. It's going to make it so that it is continuously rotating. And then when you're ready to be able to put that song on, or that part of that song on that you have cued, you hit your cue via the pad on the controller, and boom, you're in, you're done. I also been able to use my iPad with the controller, which is great. Now I do use Serato, but I also use DJ Pro AI, which is for an algorithm, and that app has support for the REV7. Now it took several updates to be able to kind of get it right, because in the beginning I had weird things happen, like one side of the deck the effects weren't working. Another time the whole side wasn't working. But eventually I think things are settled now, so a lot of the things that you can be able to do with the REV7 with Serato, you can also do with DJ Pro AI. So you can be able to get access to the effects. You can be able to use a sample pad to be able to play your samples from within the software. You can use the neural mix stem separation technology that they have to be able to perform with stem separation. And you can control a lot of that on the hardware. And not every iPad is going to work with it. Just a few models that came out in the last few years. So you'll have to go to Algorithms support site to be able to check what iPads will work with the REV7. Now, something recently has occurred with Serato DJ Pro, and that's the introduction of Serato Stems. It buys one song and you can be able to isolate the vocals and the drums and the bass and the instruments. Now, I've been using it several times, and some of my other DJs have been using it. It makes it a nice new tool to be able to add to the toolbox for a DJ. On the REV7, you can go into Serato's setup and choose what hardware option on the controller you want to replace. So in my case, I replaced the slicer, because who uses the slicer these days on the controller? I don't know anyone that does. Another thing that I really enjoy is the sound quality. The sound quality on the REV7 is very similar to the flagship battle mixer that Pioneer makes, the S11, and it's said to be better than the DJM 900 Nexus 2. So now I told you about the things that I like about the controller. Now let me tell you some of the cons that I ran into. The first con is the 33 and 45 buttons. Now, it doesn't personally bother me too much, but I have had my hand accidentally hit them a few times, either at home or when I played out. And there have been a lot of complaints from folks who also hit that 33, 45 button. It's a thing, apparently. It was just one person that put a tape over the 33, 45 buttons. But, you know, they're the same type of buttons that are on the battle style turntable setups. But then I never hit them when I had DJed with vinyl. So I don't know. Like I said, it didn't bother me, but it's something to be aware of. It's a thing. The second con, not really a big con, it's just something you have to be aware of. I'm going back to the silent cue again. The silent cue, like I said, it's a great tool to be able to use, but I would highly recommend that before you end up using silent cue at a live gig, that you practice using it. If you are not used to it, it could throw you off a little bit, but once you do get used to it, it's going to be a really effective tool in your box. Better to get thrown off while you're home as opposed to getting thrown off at a gig. Another issue that I have is, even though the REV7 is Serato hardware unlocked, it does not have the Serato DVS as a freebie. Now I get that Serato DVS is available on lock on the Pioneer Battle mixers, but I don't understand why that shouldn't be the case for this controller that is practically battle ready, practically made for vinyl DJs, practically set up for multi-format DJs. Why not just throw it in? Because you're already paying a lot of money for it. You're already paying about $1,900. Yeah, you can be able to use the vinylized jog wheels in this place. And yes, you can be able to also hook up a turntable or a pair of turntables and CDJs with it. Why nickel and dime people? Why don't you just throw in the DVS support as a freebie, and then it would feel more complete? In 2023, would I recommend anyone to get the REV7? The answer is that if you are a vinyl DJ or a multi-format DJ, this is the perfect controller for you. I really do think that you will enjoy using it and having it. It's been fun for me to use. It's fun for the DJs in my Soul Dust crew to use. And it's a controller that I can see myself using for another few years to come. So that's the end of my video. Thanks for watching if you stuck to the end. And if you want to be able to keep up with DJing, music endeavors, tech, and a combination of all the above, and follow my DJ and music journey, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. Thanks for watching this video, and I will be back with you with a new video very soon. All right, peace.